Ready for some more funny SHEL Silverstein poems? Remember this guy? He's a Chicago man. And he wrote these funny poems and he drew these funny pictures. The name of this one is called Shaking. Geraldine, now, stop shaking that cow. For heaven's sake, for your sake, and the cow's sake. That's the dumbest way I've ever seen to make a milkshake. She's shaking the milk inside the cow before she milks the cow. Who thinks of such things, right? Here's a good one. Put something in. There's no picture for this one. Just close your eyes and think of it. Draw a crazy picture. Write a nutty poem. Sing a mumble-gumble song. Whistle through your comb. Do a loony-goony dance. Cross the kitchen floor. Put something silly in the world that ain't been there before. This guy knows how to have a good time. Everything doesn't have to be serious all the time, right? Okay, here's a rock and roll band. Look at these kids. Do I see any instruments there? I think they're playing something else besides instruments. If we were a rock and roll band, we'd travel all over the land. We'd play and we'd sing and we'd wear spangly things if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band and we were up there on the stand, the people would hear us and love us and cheer us if we were a rock and roll band. If we were a rock and roll band, then we'd have millions of fans. We'd giggle and laugh and sign autographs. Hooray for the rock and roll band! If we were a rock and roll band, the people would all kiss our hands. We'd be millionaires and have extra long hair if we were a rock and roll band. But we ain't a rock and roll band. We're just 7 kids in the sand with homemade guitars and pails and jars and drums of potato chip cans. Just 7 kids in the sand talking and waving our hands and dreaming and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be grand if we were a rock and roll band? That's a fun game to play. Do you have brothers or sisters or cousins? Just take anything. I think Mr. Wiechek used to teach you how to make different sounds with different instruments that you just make out of like a pencil and a can, right? Okay, are you ready for a different one? This one is about somebody up in the sky polishing the stars. Somebody has to. That's the name of the poem. Somebody has to go polish the stars. They're looking a little bit dull. Somebody has to go polish the stars for the eagles and starlings and gulls have all been complaining. They're tarnished and worn. They say they want new ones we cannot afford. So please get your rags and your polishing jars. Somebody has to go polish the stars. Now, is that possible? Do you know science? Stars are light years away. The distance it takes light to travel in a year times hundreds and thousands. Nobody can go up that high, but look at how this guy uses his imagination. How did he think of that? Think of those things. Now, this one's really cool. What's going on here? See this guy? What's he looking at? This is called reflection. You know what reflection means. You see your reflection in the mirror. You see yourself reflected back. That's not really you. This is you. This guy says, each time I see the upside down man standing in the water, I look at him and start to laugh. Although I shouldn't oughter. For maybe in another world, another time, another town, maybe he is right side up and I am upside down. There is, or maybe it goes that way. Which way is correct? What do you think about that? Cool. Too cool for school. Okay? Here's a good one. Wavy hair. Look at this guy. This is a short one. I thought that I had wavy hair until I shaved instead. I find that I have straight hair and a very wavy head. He thought his hair was going like this, and it's his scalp. It's the bones of his skull doing that. Are you kidding me? Let's do one more. Just one more till next week. This one's called Mr. Smeds and Mr. Spats. What? What's going on there? That's SHEL Silverstein. He's something else. Mr. Spats had 21 hats, and none of them were the same. And Mr. Smed had 21 heads, and only one hat to his name. Now, when Mr. Smeds met Mr. Spats, they talked of the buying and selling of hats. And Mr. Spats bought Mr. Smeds' hat. Did you ever hear anything crazier than that? Are you kidding me? One hat. I think he should get a few more. See you next time.